patriotic. How about Jerome? Sorry about that. Jerome, are you there?
Yeah, madam, I think we can be patriotic by respecting the Ugandan flag.
What do we do? What do we do to show that we respect it?
Getting it out of the rain from the pole.
Yes. Thank you, Jerome. When it is raining, you see it, maybe it's threatening to rain. What do? Run to the flag post and put it down. Keep it very well. Someone is saying that the history teacher said peaceful riots could be meaningful, but we are saying when you're patriotic, you have better ways to solve problems. You have better ways to do it, and we still encourage that. I have Julia.
Madam, there is paying taxes and protecting the environment and natural resources.
Would you like to explain more on that?
Yeah, I can.
Go ahead.
So when I talk of paying taxes, first and foremost, one of the ways that we develop the sectors in Uganda, maybe even the infrastructure, is through paying taxes. This will help our country grow, and that will show that I'm patriotic. In all protecting the environment and natural resources, there is a way that our country will look good, and even through the natural resources, the government will have to benefit, which will be all patriotism, because it is all about love, unity, sacrifice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julia. I like that. I love that. Yes, protect your country. How do you deal with your litter? Say, they will tell you when you throw plastic here, it will take 1,000 years for it to decay. And what will happen to the children you produce? So some people will say, I don't care. I don't mind what happens. But when you love your country like Julia, you will do whatever it takes to protect its environment. What will you do? We should not leave it there. Please manage your litter well. Have you thought about recycling that plastic? How about reusing? Yes, those are things we can do. And have you planted a tree? Those are things we can do to show love. Now, Julia's other point is about paying taxes. Willingly paying taxes. You know, in our next slide, we are going to be adding adverbs. How do you pay taxes? Do you need to first be forced? How? Which adverb should we put? Willingly paying taxes. Wonderful. We shall get there. We shall add the adverbs. For now, we are talking about the things we can do. Now, I have Lam.
Yeah, madam. I think one of the things that shows someone is patriotic can be representing your country in international games and sports, like for example, football and basketballs. If you participated internationally, you are representing your country. That shows that you are patriotic.
Thank you very much, Lam. I like your point. Now, Lam, have you known about the most recent gold medal that Uganda has booked, has put down?
Not really, I'm not aware.
Not really. Yes, Victor Kiplangat has won a medal for Uganda. And what did he do to show that he is patriotic? I think and I believe he's very, very patriotic. Who saw that video?
He wear the Ugandan flag.
As he was getting to the very last bit of the marathon, he got his flag and raised it high and covered himself with it and prayed. I even looked at him closely with a bracelet, Ugandan bracelet, showing that this victory is not mine. I share it with all my people from Uganda, and that is what we call patriotism. When you love your country, you do good things like that. things that don't embarrass your country, and then you show off, say, this is my country. Thank you very much, Lam, for that wonderful point. Please remind me to get the video and I play it for us. Some people might not know about that. And it's a good thing we are having a lesson about patriotism. Why not watch the video? Lam, I've given you an assignment, right?
Yeah.
You will remind me to play the video for all of us to see Victor Kiplangat that we are talking about and maybe know which marathon. Let me see someone that has not spoken. I think we've all spoken. Thank you very much for those opinions. I like them. Now we are going to move on to our
Excuse me,
other
teacher.
lesson. Is anyone asking to be excused? Yes, Julia?
Yes, yes. Teacher, is now supporting the government policies a sign of patriotism?
Supporting government policies.
Mm,
People, what do we think about that? Is it a way of showing patriotism?
yeah, I think yes.
How does it work?
When like we talk of the government policies, any government will bring about issues that will help the country. In case maybe they brought about a suggestion, maybe like they've said in our of showing patriotism, everyone who goes up abroad, you have like in case you are staying abroad, as a symbol of patriotism, it is a government policy that maybe your house must be must have any sign of Uganda, and that's the government policy. Or that these people who are coming in, that they have to attach it to Uganda. So I think it's somewhere that it will show patriotism. Maybe
Okay.
Chawaji.
Thank you so much. Yes, I agree with you 100%. When a government brings up policies that show love, sometimes it doesn't have to be a lot. They'll say, if you have a business or if you have an office, please put the Ugandan flag on your table. Just a small piece, a beautiful one. And why wouldn't you comply? You know, that's something that shows how much you love your country. I wouldn't hesitate to do that. So if you're staying abroad, someone will say, this is my property. But yes, you have to show how much love you have for your country. And you can only do that if you comply with government policies. We've already talked about other policies like taxation, taking part in voting, keeping law and order. All those things show patriotism. Rama has been raising her hand up for long. Rama?
So I think another way of showing patriotism is by respecting the national days like the Independence Day. Since because it shows the love for your country.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. When you have your Independence Day, please do something for your country. If you know how to sing, compose a song. You know, you get off your duties and rest, and then reflect on how to improve your country. That's all correct. Then Julia's hand is still up.
No, teacher, that's up.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for your presentations. I am getting to love this class. I don't know. Thank you so much. So we are going to move to our next item, which is adverbs. Adverbs, adverbs. Who can define an adverb for us? I'm waiting for one hand to get up. Yes, Pal.
An adverb is a word that describes a verb, like tells us more about it. Like, how did you run? Did you run slowly? Did you run quickly? Yeah.
That's correct. Thank you so much, Pal. So, we've been talking about how to show patriotism. So I want us to now reconstruct these sentences adding an adverb. We have said this is a word that modifies how you do something. We said respect the national symbols. So I'll go first. I'll say willingly respect the national symbols. Do we have some other answers that people can give? Add an adverb to our answers that we've just given. You raise your hand if you're ready. Give us an adverb to modify how you show patriotism.
Teacher, me?
People, I need it. Yes, Aggie.
I can say that he gently lowered the national flag.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. That's correct. Gently lower the national flag. Thank you. Julia?
Respectively stand upright while singing the national anthem.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. Aris has another wonderful answer in the chat box. Very good answers are out down there. You need to check on them. Yes, Faith?
He sang the national anthem respectfully.
Very good. Thank you so much. Jotham?
Respect the Independence Day.
How? Reluctantly? How? If you're patriotic, how will you do it?
Willingly.
How do you do it? Okay, let's listen to Deborah.
It is extremely rare to find a patriot without a national flag.
Sorry, say that again.
It is extremely to find a patriot without a national flag.
Yes. Thank you so much. The adverb there is extremely. I love that. Let me see who else is up there. Jerome.
He sings proudly when singing the national anthem.
Thank you. That's correct. Proudly. I like it. He willingly took part in the 100-meter marathon, greatly respect the national anthems. I'm just reading through. I'm reading through the answers people are giving here in the chat box. So let me first go back to our slideshow, and then we see those that have put patriotically addressing the nation. People keep the answers coming. It's interesting. Keep the answers coming in the chat box, and then we see how to go about it. Let me share my other slide that has some more answers. Let's do this. Okay. Yes. So if you're there and you're willing, please read these points for us. Any volunteer to read these points? There are 5, just 5.
Me, teacher.
Yes, thank you. Carry on.
Strongly identify with our country. What we should know. Strongly identify with our country. Profoundly respect the country's laws. Effortlessly keep the country clean. Work passionately. Always keep law and order.
Thank you very much. Who was reading?
It was Reverend.
Yes, thank you so much, dear Julia. So those are some of the things we can do to show how patriotic we are. Now, before I close this slide, I'm going to ask Tracy. Tracy, are you still there? Yes, Tracy? Tracy is gone. Is Pearl still on?
Yes.
Pearl, can you show us the adverbs in these sentences given? What are the adverbs? Identify the adverbs given.
There is strongly, profoundly, effortlessly,
Yes.
passionately, and I don't know the one that's in the last one. Probably
Who
always.
knows? Who can identify? Who can identify the adverb in the last one?
Always.
Yes, always. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. So now I'm going to give you only 3 minutes for you to write for me at least 15 adverbs.
Mama.
Yes, 15 adverbs. People have been mentioning these adverbs. Some are still displayed on our screen. Just write 15 adverbs that you know and we shall share. You can even go to the chat box. People have been giving them patriotically, willingly, proudly. Just write them in your book and then we shall share. After that, we shall even construct some sentences, maybe like 5 about patriotism. Then we move to almost our last item of the lesson. Faith, your hand is up. Do you have something you want to tell us?
Diligently.
Diligently.
Respect.
Diligently doing.
Slowly.
Okay.
Respectfully.
Yes.
Vividly. Tiresome. Strongly.
Sorry?
Strongly. Bravely. Frequently. Kindly.
Okay.
Perfectly. Generally. Quickly. Weekly. Yearly. And then generally.
Okay. Thank you so much, Faith. Those are wonderful points. I have Lorna putting very many answers for us in the chat box, strongly, cautiously, proudly, carefully, very many of them. So I am hoping that we all have list. Some people have written here in the chat box, and that's okay. Others maybe have written in their books. That's still fine. Thank you so much, Faith. Now, here is the moment. People, I want you to construct for me, each person, one sentence. One is okay. One sentence about how you show patriotism. Then make sure you add an adverb to give it intensity, or to give it the reference to, or maybe the time. I want you to construct for me sentences, just like in the previous slide. Yes, profoundly respecting the national symbols. So let's construct those sentences, and then we shall move to our next item. When you're ready, you raise your hand. One sentence each person will do as good. Trevor is ready.
Yeah, he restlessly participates in the national athletics. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I like that. Yes, Paul.
I willingly respect the policy of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda.
Yes. Thank you very much for even mentioning that. Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. It's a nice one. Thank you so much. Jotham?
I happily celebrate the Independence Day.
Amazing. Correct. Julia? Yes, Julia, I think you've not unmuted.
I occasionally pay the government taxes.
Oh, you're not patriotic. Julia, why occasionally?
No, occasionally is frequently.
People, what do we think about that?
Yes, teacher, it is
really.
occasionally frequently.
Occasionally, I need to find out that,
Yes,
because give me a moment. Occasionally.
Teacher, what's
No.
the answer?
People, what do we think about occasionally? If someone says they do something occasionally.
No.
Now, it means?
It means that it is
Rarely.
not often. Yeah, rarely, actually, rarely. That's the word.
Yes. So if someone says they pay taxes occasionally, that's why I was quick to say, Julia, I think you're not very patriotic. So once in a long while, Julia will feel happy and pay some tax. Okay. Anyway, so yes, an adverb used. And yes, we've got to understand that occasionally is actually the opposite of frequently. So, Julia, if you want to show how patriotic you are, maybe next time you say, I frequently. You can even say, I pay my taxes every day, or willingly, or whatever. But thank you very much. Jerome?
I sing the national anthem with pride and bravery.
Okay, I sing the anthem with pride and bravery. Who can add an adverb for us in that sentence, which is very correct? Yes, Julia?
No.
Jerome, do you want to add an adverb in your own sentence?
Maybe carefully.
You can even say proudly. Proudly is the same with pride. Yes, thank you. And finally, for this activity, I saw Maggie. Was it Maggie? Yes, Maggie. Maggie, are you there? Mm-hmm. No, Maggie is not talking. Joseph wants to know the topic. Joseph, our chapter of discussion is patriotism, and mainly we are talking about the use of adverbs to show patriotic act. That's why you hear people mentioning very many sentences that show what they do, but with an adverb. I'm going to even ask Aggie to construct for us another sentence for you to see where we've gone. Yes, Aggie.
Okay, madam, I can say I sing my national anthem wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly. Thank you very much. That's a nice one. That's a nice adverb. How about goodness?
He diligently respects the national anthem.
I diligently respect the national anthem. Thank you very much. Finally, I see Rona.
I proudly identify myself as a Ugandan.
Oh, amazing. Maggie's hand has been up. I called her. She didn't respond. Now she's back. Let's give her a chance. Thank you, Rona. Now, Maggie. Yes, Maggie. It's your turn.
I pay my taxes willingly.
Okay, I pay my taxes willingly. No one has to run after me. I know it's my duty and I do it proudly. Thank you very much. Jotham, is your hand up? Like you have a point?
I faintly sing the Uganda national anthem.
Okay, that's good. So people, that's it for that activity. I want us to move to our other item. We agreed we're going to look at an article, and I want to have my volunteers. I need 3 readers. I'll be telling them where to stop. If you know you love reading passages, you love reading articles, and you're in for this challenge, please raise your hand before I even project it. So I have Carl, I have Maggie, and Jotham. True?
It's also me.
Oh, Julia also wants to read. Okay, we shall see how to divide this article and then be willing to stop and allow other people to also take part. And then at the end, we should have some questions to answer. So as these people are reading, I want us to pay attention, be silent. Yes, it is okay. I'm going to be putting back the passage as we get the questions. So let's start this. We shall have this projected and we're going to have a few people read for us. Screen. Yeah. Okay, so like I told you at the start of the lesson, we are going to have this article read. The title of this article is First Man to Write Uganda's Name on the World Athletics Map. So I'm going to choose Pearl to read the first paragraph.
Okay. The first man to write Uganda's name on World Athletics Map. If we ever discuss personalities who shaped Uganda's sports history and wrote our country's name on the world map, the name John Akiba will forever ring a bell. Yeah, will forever ring a bell. The legend comes first on Uganda's international sports menu. His story is an inspiration to many athletes, and his name had such a remarkable impact that the people who wanted to visit Uganda at that time would say, I am going to Akiba land. Akiba became a household name when he won an Olympic gold medal in Munich in 1972, setting himself a world record that took many years to break.
Thank you so much, Pearl. You're such a good reader. Up next is going to be Julia.
John Akibwa was born on December 3rd, 1949. His early life started in 1964 after the death of his father, Rotbwa, and his migration to Kampala. As one of 43 children, Akibwa wanted to have a good life but saw no future in Abako village, Villa district. When he arrived in Kampala, his strategy was to get a job in police force. Luck was not on his side, and indeed, Akibwa joined the police football club and later the police force. His speed saw him recruited into the athletics team. Should I
Okay.
go on?
Yes, go on. Even the next part.
His gateway to sports. Akibwa started his career as a jumper and sprinter. He later became a hurdler after Malcolm Arnold, his coach, realized his potential. Like most sportsmen of the time, Akibwa used to have extra training in the evening at the current Chambogo University grounds. I would call him either hardworking or selfish. We were young boys by then, and he used to call us to help him carry hurdles at around 7 p.m. when most of the athletes had retired, says Francis Demai, now an athletics coach. It is this hard work that made him shine. His training package included wearing a vest weighing close to 10 kilograms and would run 1,500 meters over 5 hurdles that were 42 inches high. He trained twice daily. Talking on the word,
Okay. Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you. So, Trevor, are you there and willing to take us on?
Yes.
Start from taking on the world. How does he end up going out there?
Taking on the world, Akibwa launched his international career at the Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh in 1970, but he was unlucky not to win a medal because he finished fourth. However, he took this as a learning point. He increased his workouts, and with no international event on the calendar, managed to run the fastest single time in 1971, a sign that he would compete for the top hours at the Olympic Games in 1972. Indeed, on 2nd September 1972, the Olympic Stadium in Munich, Germany, Akiba was drawn in lane 1 for the 400 hours at exactly 4:31 p.m. local time. He won the gold medal, new world record time of 46.82 seconds, beating Britain's Dave Hammery, then world record hold and defending champion, and Ralph Mann, an American athletics champion. This was despite running in a 2-year-old pair of shoes with one missing a spike. In Germany, everybody was talking about our own national athletes. We had a number of favorites in various disciplines like head Rosetta, long jump, and Rick Mayfair, high jump. He managed to win the gold in their competition with the exception of a few better informed experts. Maybe nobody expected a sensational performance involving an African athlete on his mind, says the German ambassador to Uganda, Klaus-Dieter Duxman, who was a child at that time. None of us had ever heard of Akiba, who had been chosen to run on the little like inner lane. So everybody focused on the favorite like David Emery, UK, and our own German athlete. When the group of runners were about to finish and the final curve, to everybody's surprise, Akiba was at the par with the favorites, and with each passing meter increased increased his victory. The audience got increasingly excited and finally celebrated Akiba asked if he was one of their own. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Trevor, for that wonderful read. Now, I need one last volunteer, someone out there who is dying to read. So you have the last paragraph. Please take it on. It's first come, first serve. Hmm? Anyone willing to read?
Yes.
Thank you. Introducing the victory lap.
Well, introducing the victory lap.
Hmm. Dear.
While
We are
other
waiting.
runners,
It's okay. Continue.
while other runners were walking to bread at the end of the route, Akiba was so overwhelmed with joy for when he had given the Uganda flag to celebrate. He ran around the stadium waving the flag as he received a standing ovation. Little did he know he was starting a new trend in sports, and since then, athletes have had what has come to be christened a victory lap in almost all international events. The great Ugandan sadly died on 20th June 1997 at Mulago Hospital in Kampala from abdominal complications. He was penniless and almost forgotten 25 years after the Moorish glory.
Okay, thank you very much for reading this. Now, thank you. We are going to come back to this. For now, I want us to look at if there is anyone here who can summarize this story for us. In your own words, what is in this passage, in this article? Anyone? In your own words. Anyone? Who can tell us? We've just read an article about so and so who did this and this and this. It's a very important activity when we read for us to summarize in our own words. So if you're there and you can summarize this for us, kindly raise your hand and take it. Yes, Julia. Thank you. Thank you so much, Julia. I think you're still muted.
Yes, to the little I recall, Akibwa is a born of Lira, was born on 3rd December. He lost his dad and came up to Kampala, whereby he had a dream of being an athlete. Unfortunately, when he reached Kampala, he joined a football team where he afterwards got a chance and joined the athletic team where I usually trained from the Akimbo grounds, and after a period of time he went up to represent Uganda, for the marathon run, and him winning was was appreciated by giving him a standing ovation, and then unfortunately he died in Mulago. That's all I recall.
Thank you so much, Julia. And indeed, that's what the passage is about. That is what it's about Akibua, the first person, the first athlete who wrote Uganda's name on that map. Why Uganda is respected when it comes to athletics. That is Akibua, and that's the article we have just read. Thank you so much, Julia. So I'm going to go back to the passage, and we shall be picking word by word to see what some of these words. Did you see some words that were highlighted in red and phrases?
Yes.
Julia has even mentioned one, standing ovation. So let's be willing to tell the class what these words mean from this article. So I'm going to share again. We close the whiteboard. Don't know whose whiteboard that is. Yes. So here we are. This is the sorry. In case someone had missed it, this is it's actually an article. Yes, it's an article which you can even publish in a newspaper. So we have here in the first paragraph, two words are highlighted in red. John Akibua, that name will forever ring a bell. What does that mean? Yes. That name will forever ring a bell. What does that mean? Anyone, if you know, you just give us the answer. Feel free to unmute and answer, then we move forward.
Yeah, it will forever be remembered.
Yes, correct. That name will forever trigger a memory. It will always sound familiar. For people now, imagine people who are already born by that time. You mention the name Akibua and they'll forever remember him. Imagine 5 years from now, if someone mentioned Victor Kiplangat, yes, you would go back and think about him waving the national flag and being so proud that he's Ugandan. That's the one. Thank you very much. So we move to the other highlighted word. People would say, I'm going to Akibua land. The name indeed became a household name. What's that? What does that mean?
It means it became so common.
It became popular, it was famous, known by many, highly celebrated. Thank you, that's correct. We move to our other pages. Then we have this. Very many people had their favorites. Very many people from Germany, people from UK, they had favorites in long jump. No one really expected a sensational performance involving an African. What What's a sensational performance, people?
A mesmerizing performance.
I like that. Yes, that's true. An amazing one. Do we have any other word that can stand in for sensational performance?
I think outstanding.
Standing
Yeah.
performance.
Outstanding accomplishment. Yes.
Amazing.
An amazing accomplishment. Okay. And then your sub-candidates, people, when you have such questions, and you will always have them in English paper too, when they ask you to give us the meaning of the words or phrases as used in the passage, make sure you give other words for all the words given. What do I mean? Do not say sensational performance means amazing performance. Are you sure you've understood what performance means? Hmm? You need to give us sensational performance and explain both phrases. So, do we have anyone who can try? Amazing what? How can you explain sensational performance to someone?
Amazing presentation.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's correct. Sub-candidates, have we learned that?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Can it be a showcase?
A showcase, yes, that presents the whole of it. Very good. That's correct. Any other person who can give us another phrase that can standing in for sensational performance?
Okay.
Hmm. It could mean
I'm not really understanding.
Someone is not understanding where we are. We are describing the words and phrases used in this article. And as saying that when you're in an exam and you're faced with such a question where they ask you to give the meaning of the phrase sensational performance, it is important for you to describe both words in the phrase. So you have to say amazing accomplishment. You have to say breathtaking achievement. You can say exciting presentation. Does that make sense to all of us, sub-candidates?
Yes, it does.
That
Very good. I have seen this being a very common mistake where children will say amazing performance, meaning the word performance is not described and a mark will be taken away from you. Before you know it, you don't have distinction one. And then people will wonder, this girl has been very good in English. We don't know why she has credit 4, yet you've been losing marks like that. So when you're asked to describe the meaning of words, make sure you describe the entire phrase. No word should be repeated. Find a way of repeating the word in the question. So we have this where they say Akibo at some point when people were getting to the very last lap, which is the final curve. To everybody's surprise, Akibua was at with the favorites. What does that mean? What does it mean for you to be at par with the favorites? Now let me see. Everybody has understood what we've just described. Make sure you don't put any word from here at par with the favorites. Describe it in other words to make us understand what it means. Any volunteer out there?
Probably at the same level with the well-known.
Amazing. Who is that?
How?
Thank you, Paul. That's correct. That's amazing. And I'm very sure you've understood what we've just talked about. Being at the same level with the most loved, with the celebrated, with the idols, people that were already there. Yes, to everybody's amazement, Akibua was, yes, on the same level with those people. So Pearl has described at par, meaning being at the same level or being equal. And she has not said at par, no, she has not said being at the same level with the favorites, because that would make her answer not so correct. So she has gone ahead to even describe the favorites for us as presented in the article. So a wonderful answer, at the same level as the idols, or as the most celebrated, or as the most loved. Thank you so much, Paul. Julia earlier on talked about a standing ovation. What's that? Somebody maybe knows it. What does that mean? What is a standing ovation? Any volunteer?
Yes, teacher.
What is a standing ovation to you?
A standing ovation is like they are trying to show that as a sign of respect or appreciation, Akiba had people who rose up from their seats. Yeah, raising up as a sign of respect. Oh, yes.
And when people stand, they clap. Most times, when people stand, they clap or give you a round of applause. Yes, please.
Standing ovation maybe means he was recognized with the people.
With?
The people that were recognizing him.
They stood and gave him a round of applause. Okay? Thank you very much for answering that. Now we have this last word. Little did he know he was starting a new trend in sports, and since then, athletes have had what has come to be christened a victory lap. What does that mean? Have we had some people going for christening ceremonies? What happens there? Any volunteer? Okay, for what has been, now for the love of time, I'm going to just give that. For what has been named, yes, please.
Maybe it means what has been achieved.
What has been to Christian is to name, to name or term. What has been termed a victory lap, or what has been named a victory lap. Does that make sense to all of us?
Yes.
That's good. So people, as we come to the end of this activity and get to our very last one for this lesson, I want to give us just a few tips. I've already mentioned that when you're given words to be described, don't repeat any of the words given. Make sure you describe all the words in the question. 2, make sure you maintain the tense. If they ask for the word flogged, make sure you maintain the tense. That is in the past tense. Even your answer should be in the past tense. If the word is in plural, please answer in plural. Yes. That will make you perfect. That will make you
Now, madam.
stand out the crowd. Yes, please.
Madam, I'm having a question.
Yes,
Like
please.
when I'm given like mother-in-law, some people are saying you can say mothers-in-law. What about that? Or mothers-in-laws?
No. What I mean is if they ask you to give the meaning of the word mothers-in-law, yes, you must give an answer in plural. Do you even know what that means? Can we start from there and give it an answer? Who are those people called mothers-in-law?
Mothers-in-law, is like the mother of your wife or the mother of your husband.
Now, do you see what I mean? Instead of saying the mother, because the question has many mothers-in-law, you must say, yes, these are the different people that produced their wives.
Yes.
Make sure you maintain the plural. If it is in plural, even your answer must show that there are many in the passage. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Very good. If
Thanks,
someone
madam.
asks about nuns, can you give us the meaning of the word nuns? Make sure your answer also has the word given in plural. If it is in the past tense, maintain the tense. If it is in the present tense, also maintain the tense. People in my class, have we understood that?
Yes.
Very good. So finally and very finally for this lesson, I want us to look at the structure of an article. Let me even first stop sharing and I get back to my lesson. Then I ask. People, Pearl, I see Pearl is here, many other people, Julia, Tracy. Have you ever written an article? Maybe you have the school magazine, maybe you're writing for New Vision. Who has ever written an article?
I wrote one,
very
but it
good.
was in Uganda.
It is okay. For now, we are looking at the format. Goodness has ever written one, Julia and Pearl. And I know many other people maybe. So, and even Maslin, that's good. So, people, I want us to briefly talk about the structure, format of an article. Where do we start from? You asked to write an article. What would you start with?
Madam.
Title. Yes, title. Very good. Very good. You start with a title. Pearl, after writing your wonderful, captivating, catchy, amazing title, what do you do?
Introduction.
Do we call it an introduction?
Can we call it a lead paragraph?
But if you know how to clap, please clap for Pearl. Very good, Pearl. We call it a lead paragraph. That paragraph that will capture the attention of your reader. Do you remember in the article that we've just read? I remember, I've not even gone back, but I have it off head. If we are going to talk about the athletics of this nation, if we ever discuss personalities who shaped Uganda's sports history, and we wrote our country's name on the world map, the name John Akiba will forever ring a bell. Imagine that. Someone is captivating, is trying to capture your attention. So when you're writing an article, make sure you start with that lead paragraph. What does it mean? It's a paragraph that will capture someone's attention and inform them about what you're doing. When you open any newspaper, if you have any at home, or maybe if you used one to cover your book, or if you have, you just open any article and see. That's how they do it. There is that lead paragraph. 17 children perish in a school fire. Someone will be like, want to read on, and they will not be bored because they want to find the information you're giving. So after having that lead paragraph, do we have any questions so far?
Madam, why do we call it an lead paragraph, not an introduction?
Because it is what leads your readers to continue on and they read to the very end. You know, introduction introduction has been used in reports, in writing essays. So when we talk about a news article, we call it a lead for you to know that you're not just writing for people to read, you're writing for people to get interested. Someone can open your article and close it immediately. Did you know?
Yes.
So for you to have it is not just an introduction, it is a lead. It is something that has to trap someone to read your article. Can we move on as we come to the end of our lesson?
Madam, I'm also asking a question.
Yes, dear.
How many pages does a article take? Like in when we are writing the over compositions, we are told to use over 2 pages.
Now you see this question will be in section A. Abraham,
Yeah.
can you hear me? You know, in section A the words are not very many. So
Yes.
you can only use like 1 page
Yeah.
for the article. It is different from section B where you have to use 2 pages. Even the words will be given. Sometimes it will be ranging between 200 and that's like 1 full cup.
Yeah,
Okay?
I'm understanding. Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, madam.
So what after writing your lead? What else would you write?
Yeah.
Yes, dear. Yes, Mercy.
How come sometimes we were writing
Sorry?
we have to start. Okay, I started mine by saying I am cold. Is that wrong?
Nancy, I can't hear what you're saying.
Yes,
Is it
madam.
Nancy?
I was saying I wrote an article in the school, but I started it with my name. Is it wrong?
You're saying that if you write your article about your school, and you include the name of your school.
So you include your name.
You can include your name, but you may not include the name of your school for reasons we all understand. Does that answer your question?
Yes, madam.
Sometimes someone will think that you're tipping your teacher to know that it's your school and they mark you like considerably. So we advise that you put any other name. You can say Kakonge Secondary School, or find any other name that you're sure is not your school's name to avoid suspicion that you're trying to cheat.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Please, madam, I was of a request in a humble heart. Like, is it possible, like, after speaking, like, those guys should mute their microphones because some of us are not getting you clearly.
No, okay, people. Thank you for that suggestion, dear. If you're not talking and your hand is not yet picked, kindly mute. That is called discipline in an online lesson. Otherwise, we won't be able to communicate, and our lesson will be null and void. We started well, but some people have started writing some messages here, which I'm trying to ignore. So let's try to keep on. And when you're not talking, please mute. Thank you for that suggestion, dear. So Maggie, your hand is up.
Madam.
Yes, dear. Yes, please. I can hear you.
Yes, madam.
Yes, Grace.
Can you highlight for me like how to write an investigative report?
How to write an investigative report.
Yeah.
Yeah. People, thank you, Grace, for that question. Do we have anyone here who can summarize that in 1 minute? Because I can see we have only just a few minutes, but I am very sure some people here have written an investigative report. Anyone who can summarize that for us, because Grace has asked. She would like to know how to write an investigative report. Anyone? Yes, Abraham. Oh. Any person? Yes, Paul.
So in an investigative report, we have the title. For example, a report to the director of studies about causes of poor performance in a certain class, let's say senior 2. And then we have an introduction, which should be written as a subtitle. It should be in small letters and underlined, and it should be brief. And it also states what prompted the writing of the report. It should also state the key issues surrounding the topic of survey and who carried out the survey. And then after that comes the methods of data collection, e.g., I don't know, interviewing, internet, observation, questionnaire, reference books. Yeah, then findings. After the findings, then we have the conclusion. Like, this is your own judgmental opinion, should I say, of what you think. And then after conclusion, we have recommendation that states what should be done. And then after that, we sign off. Well, we start with the signature, name, then position, and then date in full. Yeah, that's what I know.
Okay, thank you very much. People, let's give Paul a big hand up. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Paul. And yes, briefly, Grace, that is it. That is it. When you're writing your article, sorry, your report, investigative report, please follow those instructions. I am going to ask that maybe we have another lesson where we talk about reports, the different types of reports and how we write them, to give the details of what Paul
Madam,
has just explained.
I just request to finish. Madam, when writing an investigation report, do we finish with recommendation?
Yes, and do you know what recommendations are? Abraham, is it yes, Abraham, do you know what they are? Okay, Joseph, you have something to say?
Madam.
Yes, please, Abraham.
This Trevor. I'm
Sorry?
going after that one. Like the recommendations are the things you suggest that should be done.
That's correct. That's correct. So thank you very much, people, for talking about the structure of a report. It is a very important item because it is examined highly, and it is important for all of us to know how it is written. Someone asked to be excused. Is it Julia?
Yes, teacher. I also have a question, two questions out of like different from the report thing. Madam, once given a question, it is not possible to change a mother's mind, and in brackets you're having can't. Use can't. It is not possible to change a mother's mind. What do you say?
A mother's mind cannot be changed or can't be changed.
Okay. Another one, teacher. It's about reported speech and indirect speech. Please, can you give a hint?
Sorry?
About the reported speech? No, maybe let's talk of the passive voice. Can you give a hint about passive voice, reported speech, and indirect speech before the lesson ends?
Okay. Our time for the lesson is fast spent. but I'm going to say something briefly about the passive voice. Now, in English, the standard structure of a sentence is SVO, subject, verb, object, right? Where you say the subject is the doer of the action, verb is the action, and object is something that suffers the action. I'll give an example. She ate food. She's the person that did the eating. Ate is the action. Then food is what suffered the action. It's what was eaten. Now, when you write that is in the active voice, when you use SVO, that is the normal active voice. Every time we talk about passive voice, we are asking you to start with the object. Object. Food was eaten. Yes, sometimes you may not even mention the doer. Why? When we use the passive voice, we are more interested in the object. Yes, adding the doer is okay, it's optional, and that is the message. We are interested in the object. Why are we twisting the normal sentence pattern? We are interested in the object. If you say, Julia and Pearl swept the class yesterday, the time you want to start with the class, it means you're more interested in the class being clean, or maybe what they did. So you say the classroom was swept yesterday. If you want, you can say it was swept by Julia and Pearl. So that is it, SVO, changed where we start the object.
So, madam, we shall allow only people with invitation cards. What do you do about that?
Only people with invitation cards shall be allowed.
Shall be allowed. Okay, thank you,
Yes.
teacher.
You're welcome. So people, that pretty much brings us to almost the end of our lesson. I beg to go back to our book and display the outline of an article, and that will take us to the end of this lesson. We are going to see if we can get other lessons, and we discuss many other topics that people are saying, and then we have an amazing quality. So I'm going to share my screen once again and scroll through to the very last bits that show how an article is written, and that will take us to the end of our lesson. Here, this is the very last thing we are going to look at. Pearl, pretty fast, kindly read for us this information.
The basic story outline. The best way to structure a newspaper article is to first write an outline. Review your research and notes, just like you do to a draft of your essay or composition writing. Then jot down ideas for the following 6 sections, which form the foundation upon which to build your story. A. Headline. This forms your title. It should be crisp, punchy, and eye-catching so as to grab and hook your reader straight away. B. The byline. A line that states the name of the writer and his position or title. C. A lead paragraph or introduction. Which facts and figures will support your story? You have to tell your readers where and when this story is happening. This will make it credible or believable. The opening sentence or quotation in the paragraph should have we should give the reader an understanding of the people involved and what they are thinking. D, the main body. What is at the heart or the gist of the story. E, the closing sentence or quotation. Find something that sums up the article in a few words.
Okay, thank you so much, Paul. So people, basically that's how your article will look like. Give it a title, make sure you have the byline, story by Paul, Hannah, or you write maybe your position, the chief executive officer, of NEMA, whatever. Then make sure you have your main body, the gist, what the story is entirely about. Then close off naturally with with such a sentence. So, people, I thank you very much. I know we may have a few questions, and then we come to the end of this lesson. Do we have any questions? I will allow like 2 or 3 if they're there. Then we close off. Joseph, do you have a question? Grace, you have a question?
No.
Okay, that's good. So people have already asked their questions. Yes, Rona.
Yes, madam.
Let's first listen from Rona, then Joshua, then Joseph. Sorry.
Talking about
Rona, you go first.
when are we having the next lesson? We're talking about.
I am going to ask Teacher Stephen to schedule, and then I think you will see on the timetables that he normally shares, okay?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Trevor?
Yes, madam. May you first give something about transitives and intransitives?
Can we put that down, and then when we have our next lesson, we start with it?
It's okay.
So,
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Joseph? I think Joseph's network is not good. Yes, Kasumba.
Madam, I
Yes,
was
please.
just asking for the timetable. How can I get the timetable?
Teacher Stephen is going to post a timetable. I'm going to raise this issue to him that the children in the class maybe need to be aware of which lesson they're going for, and then as reached, I hope we should find a way of always broadcasting whatever we are supposed to learn.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, madam.
You're welcome. I guess that's it.
Yes, madam.
Thank you very much for having a wonderful lesson with me and being a wonderful class. I would love to meet you once again. And we have all those questions answered. I tasked to Trevor to remind us to watch the video, but he didn't, and our time is fast spent. So I'm going to ask all of us to just go and look for it. Victor Kiplangat, the man that just won gold for Uganda. Watch it and see how he shows his patriotism. He doesn't refuse to wave a flag. He doesn't refuse to show off. He has the bracelet, and his vest has Uganda. I mean, he's so patriotic. So thank you very much for attending this lesson about patriotism. We have looked at the definition. We have looked at the different adverbs that we can use to describe our patriotic acts. We have read a passage in form of an article, and then we have also looked at the structure of an article, starting with a title, byline, lead, your main paragraphs, and then the conclusion. We've even learned how to answer questions about words and phrases as used in the passage. I thank you very much. May God bless you till we meet again. Feel free to go out.
Safe journey, madam.
Right.
Madam.
Yes, please.
I just want to thank you for everything you have done for us.
You're most welcome. Thank you for participating very well, Nancy.
You're welcome.
May God bless you, madam.
All right, and I'm seeing all the messages you're sending me. Thank you for appreciating the lesson.
Madam,
Let's do
thanks
this
very
again.
much.
Most
Yeah, thanks,
welcome.
madam.